I'm Enchantress of Numbers, and this is my submission for SGDQ2018 for Tetris with Cardcaptor Sakura Eternal Heart in the category Story Mode Normal. So we're getting started right away and mashing through some cutscenes. The point of this game is basically you are Cardcaptor Sakura and you've lost all the cards. And so you've got to capture them back, and you do that by solving these puzzles where you have to clear out all those gems, the round orb-shaped blocks, or in the Tetris grid. And so you use Tetris mechanics to be able to do that. And kind of the story behind this game, it uses the basically the Tetris the Grandmaster game engine on the PlayStation 1. This is being played on a Japanese region PlayStation 2, slim PlayStation 2 with the fast disk speed turned on. So that helps to cut down on the load times between stages. And so this is why we're able to go quite a bit faster than we could last time at this was featured at AGDQ 2017, and so basically the story behind how the game came to be is Arika, the company who made the game, also they had Tetris the Grandmaster, and they wanted to basically release that for the PlayStation, but they didn't have the license to do so. But they had the license for Cardcaptor Sakura, and so they were able to negotiate a license with the Tetris company for a Tetris-based puzzle game, but that was different from a traditional Tetris game. And so they used that with the Cardcaptor Sakura license to get a game that is ridiculously cute and actually fairly difficult, especially on the normal difficulty. It is quite a bit more difficult than the easy mode. So the difference is, you notice the timer in the top right says 19:06:19 right there? Basically, that timer at the first stage, it started out at 20 minutes, and it counts down every stage. And so you have 20 minutes to use across all 18 stages to clear them out. The first time you play through the game, you probably would actually need to use up time to replay stages, basically, in order to get that time, clear all the stages in under that time. The speedrun, we don't have to replay stages, but if you're not using a lot of these speedrun strats, or very familiar with the Tetris the Grandmaster rotation system and everything, it's gonna be a difficult time getting through the normal mode. One thing you may have noticed is that I'm able to slide the pieces after placing them down, and that's because this game takes advantage of what was introduced in TGM2, the Sonic drop, they call it, where it's an instant non-locking drop, so you can, with pressing up on the joystick, you can instantly drop the piece, then you can move it or twist it, and then pressing down on the joystick to lock the piece into place. This stage here is a very interesting stage where if you get the right pieces, you can do some really interesting rotations to solve the stage, but did not get a favorable piece sequence for that. So But basically you want to clear off the top and then be able to clear out those gems at the bottom, so... And so you notice right now that I'm quite a bit ahead of my PB pace, and that's because largely due to the load times being shorter on the PlayStation 2 as compared to the PlayStation 1 when using the fastest speed. And so one thing you notice, there's these sheep flying around the screen. When you're actually playing the game, you typically don't notice the sheep at all. But watching it, you notice them a lot more. So I'm not sure what the sheep have to do with Erase and Cardcaptor Sakura, but yeah, it's a lot of the game, they try to add in these distractions. So Earthy, this next stage here, it looks pretty easy with only 2 gems, but wait, the stage didn't end. Well, it turns out every 7 pieces you place, it adds another row of blocks, and so the goal is those are gonna have gems in them, some of them. Like, I think every other row has gems in them, and so then basically, not quite every other row, but you kind of have to memorize what the order of the gems are, so you know when, for example, when the purple gem comes, that's the last row. And so basically you want to try to keep stacking clean, but you also want to go fast so that you can get this cleared out as quickly as possible. Oh no, it's the orange one is the last one. So at this point we're about halfway through the game or so. And so now the outlines, I mean, I don't know if it really causes much trouble for people, but you can still kind of see everything, what's going on. And they show you the outline, so it's not completely invisible, but it does. You kind of have to maybe pay a little bit more attention to what you're doing on that stage. So the maze stage is a really neat one because you basically, optimum strats, you only want to clear really the rows that have the gems in them. I guess you have to clear that one row at the top, but if you notice how it's stacked up on the left, basically stacked it up so that we cleared the fewest number of rows possible in order to get through the stage as quickly as possible. Moving on to the illusion stage. This one uses a mechanic that's known in item mode from Tetris the Grandmaster called color block, and basically it so it will cycle the colors like that, which makes it really hard to see what's going on. But basically when you're speedrunning this, you've really got all of it, your stack memorized. And so it's not, it looks harder than it actually is. Wood stage is actually a really difficult stage because like Earthy, it will add rows to the bottom, and in this one it's kind of neat because it looks like a tree growing. But it goes very quickly. It's, if you count, I think it's every 3 pieces. That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, every 3rd piece, it goes up. So, and actually, I'm in a really bad spot right now with this. Making some poor decisions, and so it was 2.5 minutes ahead. Oh, and I actually topped out there. The capture, the sync, the capture lost sync there. I don't know why it does that on my capture card. So playing the stage again. So got actually pretty lucky here because it could have, I could have topped out again. So that stage is actually very, very difficult. And then this thunder stage is kind of neat. There's basically, you want to specifically use the L and J pieces to clear out the lines, and then you don't have to clear anything else, and you can get through it much, much quicker than basically you would think to do any other way you would try to do that stage, basically. So it's a neat, non-obvious strat. And then we lost our capture there for a second again. So this glow stage is a neat one because we basically once it's very few gems on the screen. And no other supporting pieces, and you just kind of have to stack around to clear them. So it's reminiscent of one of the stages in... I guess one thing I should mention is this game does have kind of a spiritual sequel in the game mode Sakura of Tetris the Grandmaster 3, Terror Instinct. And so it's basically the same gameplay, but that has a fixed piece sequence, and you get 3 previews and a hold, as well as some of the more lenient rotation rules of TGM3. So this stage is kind of interesting because you need to really clear down to... I don't know why exactly I did what I did there, but you need to clear a path to get down to be able to then place your pieces below where they're supposed to be to clear out the bottom row. So that's making use of a lot of the lock delay that you get in TGM and the sonic drop and all of that stuff to maneuver through those locations. So it's a really interesting stage, and Watery does a lot of that. This next stage is similar in how it does its is set up. You kind of do some of that stuff too. So. So, and I actually got a really favorable piece sequence, but now we're just kind of stacking around what we get here. And I messed that up, but turns out it's okay. And we cleared it without too much trouble. And we're making time back after losing a bunch, so that's always good to see as well. and onto light and dark, and this does, it's 2 cards on one stage, so you actually have 2 wells that you're playing in. The 2 wells are identical and you play them at the same time, so it's not that big of a deal. The gameplay switches between the 2 in a neat way, you'll see. So the left well is dark, and now the right well is light. And so then this is gonna basically very similar to the way the earthy stage worked. The garbage rows are going to come up from the bottom, and you have to, the last row of each color band has a gem in it, and so you have to clear down to get to that. And the color sequence is always the same. The last color band is red, which comes after the green. So ideally you'll be cleared down and near the bottom ready to go when the red band shows up. So made a little bit of a misdrop there, but oh, and actually made another misdrop there. But with the rotation system of this game, we were able to get through the thing. And then now just waiting on an eyepiece to finish it out. So, and then that is the game, and time ends once you collect the last 2 cards when they stop animating. And so this is a good race game, I think, because it's a lot of, you can have a lot of back and forth based on what you get for the randomness. So, but it's also, I think, pretty marathon safe as well. So, I think it makes for a good race. And so that's normal mode of Tetris, Tetris with Cardcaptor Sakura, Eternal Heart. And I am Enchantress of Numbers. Thank you for watching.